Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a Divine Masculine Twin Flame read for you, and I'm going to get right into it. It's August 6, 2019. The 6 is of the Lovers, and the day adds up to 26-8, which is the Page of Wands, which is about being inspired. And before I get into the read, I just want to get this out of the way first, because I don't want to cry, but it's kind of making me want to cry right now. The read is great for you guys, but there's just a part of the read that's showing that, for me anyway, in my personal situation, it looks like my twins having their 20th anniversary party, and I'm sorry. 4 years ago, because my birthday is the day of their anniversary, I congratulated him on his 16th anniversary, and he just said, eh. And that was the time that I started energetically connecting with him. So it's the 4-year anniversary of my union with him, and I'm seeing him and like have a big celebration for his 20th anniversary. So I just want to put it out there. I'm sorry, but that's my truth. Maybe it'll help you guys purge something out that you need to get out right now too. The day of the 6th and the day adding up to the 26-8 of the Lovers and the Page of Wands is definitely reflected in the read today. The Lovers is the last card of the read, besides the after the card reads. And the Page of Wands is around the Divine Masculine today. I watched a movie last night called, what was it called? It was called American Hangman, which you have to see. It was kind of a twisted, weird movie, but the point was well taken. It has to do with truth versus satisfaction. Like, is it close enough to the truth to be enough, to kill a man in the justice system? So, we have the Lovers in the Page of Wands, being inspired to love, to be in an affectionate relationship. The cut was done, or the read was done at 8:55, which then again is 55 is the Ace of Swords. It's all about the truth. And by the way, all 4 aces were upright today. The Syrian Starseed cut was done at 8:39. And 39 is the Knight of Cups, but the Knight of Cups is reversed today. The major arcana were the Chariot, the Lovers, and after the read was the solar deity, which is like the sun. And that was it. Usually we've been getting more major arcana, so the Divine Masculines are in control of what they want to do with their lives right now. Not as much guidance as usual. There's 3 swords, 2 cups, 3 pentacles, 1 wand, and the only court card in the read was that Page of Wands, the masked boy with the burning desire. The card that came up before the read was the Knight of Cups, but that was it for the court cards. And I have to say, just I did a couple reads yesterday, no court cards were coming up for the masculine. The numbers and the code line were all about communication. So here we are communicating. The sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 came up, as well as 78, which is the 10 of Pentacles, and the 10 of the Wheel of Fortune, the Destiny card. The code line actually added up to 17. It was 7 and 10. So it was literally reiterating the 7 sins and the 10 commandments that came up in the rant yesterday, which add up to 17, which is the star, right? Your dreams come true if you abide by the bliss and not the will. Then you can have your dreams come true by communication, by being open back and forth, by not hiding things, by letting the truth come out. This is the whole point of that, to let it all be known so that there can never be any hurt feelings when you nip things in the butt right away, or the bud. So, Seven of Crystals definitely came up in the coding today, which for me in the Sirian Starseed deck is the Divine Feminine's heart. You see the card here is the challenge spot, and this is, I call that the E tower, but that's the, like, Rapunzel's tower. So it's like the E tower, and letting people into the tower, that kind of thing. So that's the Divine Feminine's heart, which is the challenge for the masculine today. The cards here, this is the Three of Orbs or the Three of Swords. This one is the Eight of Wands, and then this one is the Adept of Chalices or the Knight of Cups that I told you about. This top card is that Ace of Swords, which is the truth, and it is upright. And let's see, there's a lot of other numbers that came up with the coding, but 17 was the main code line number, along with 7 and 10, so the 7 deadly sins and the 10 commandments. And then the read being done at 8:55, which is the strength of the 8 of the infinity and that flow of the dance, and staying at 0 point, and 55 of the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help you God. 11 is justice, 55 is the truth, 33 is the Seven of Wands, standing up for yourself without being defensive or reacting. Sorry for reacting, guys. 88 is the two twins standing side by side doing their dance of their masculine and feminine within, but both of them in their alignment together. 10 is the Destiny card, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 12 is the Hangman, which is funny, that movie was called the American Hangman last night. 45 is that Five of Cups, which is the grief card, but also, not letting go of the third of the baton to get to the fourth leg of the race, right? So not letting go of the old to get to the new, which is right there in front of you, not seeing what's right in front of you, the good, not being in gratitude for what's in your present moment. The 57 is the Three of Swords. 78 is the 10 of Pentacles, and then 8, 10 came up, as well as 15, which is the Devil, and then 58, which is the Four of Swords. The message here, all about communication, is about toggling up again. So meditate and connect with the etheric realms, with your higher self, your high vibration. And then E-I-E-I-O is coming up. An alarm's going off right now. But with the E-I-E-I-O, I was getting, the first part of Old MacDonald Had a Farm is chicks. So they had a chick here and a chick there. So I was getting a chick farm for the masculine, They always have lots of women around them. To toggle up, stay in your high vibration, let the masculine be who he is after the death of alternating currents or air conditioning, right, needing to cool off to the nth degree after the death or after the war. Sorry, I just had to blow my nose. All right, so yeah, so after the war, and very much in this read is also coming up the wound of, again, after the war. What happens after the war, besides everyone all of a sudden being confused? There's parties and celebrations, and then what do we do now? Well, there's several things that come up after the war, and they all come up in this read today, amongst other things. So alternating currents, going back and forth, right? Feeling high vibration 1 minute, and then crying the next, Needing to cool off and just come back to 0 point. The Divine Feminine's heart, reaping rewards in their high vibration, and the tent was coming up as well. And I know my friend brought up tents the other day too, and we were kind of syncing on that. So the tent came up again today, but the high vibration of the total weight of the world on your shoulders, or the total war that you've just been through, and the PTSD that all of the twins have experienced. But communications was the most important thing today. And like I said, also tea is coming up again, so that can be somebody's name, but it also can be the tea you drink, and tea can be for toggling up to the etheric realms. Also the lowercase I of the chakra system needing to be aligned comes up, just of the I am presence. The AC/DC came up, come see, come sa. The 7 of the deadly sins, and the cry, instead of crystals, the cry stalls, the stalling and crying of the 10 commandments, the heavyweights, the total war, the communication, and now I'm getting ammunition with communication. And cation comes up again today too, because that's the charged ion. So 7 plus 10, the sins plus the commandments, equals 17. Dreams come true when you follow your bliss. Stop commanding and forgive your sins. Okay, so this is the twist on that. So I asked with a separate deck today, as I'm losing my voice, who is the Divine Feminine today? And it was coming up as the happiness and fulfillment. She was coming up not as a person, but as the happiness and fulfillment, the emotional fulfillment of the King of Swords surrendered. That's who she is today. And then I asked who's the karmic in the read today. And I was getting the Dark Knight stealing or looting after the war. So that this is one of the wounds coming up after the war. What do people do? They break into stores and steal things. So looting after the war, so if there's a War of the Roses or a divorce, that kind of thing, people trying to steal things, right, before the other person gets it. After the release from the prison. At home, the Queen of Pentacles reversed was coming up as the karmic, not happy to work or needing to have to work so hard to align, or the Queen of Pentacles reversed amidst a stable home and the Divine Masculine working, but not as much as he used to. So maybe they've, been working on the relationship and trying to, concede more to each other to make things work. The Divine Feminine is offering their gold coin to a lover without affection. The Empress reversed, the Queen of Wands reversed, and this was coming up as a side note as well. The Empress reversed and Queen of Wands reversed, which definitely can be a mother-daughter thing. It doesn't have to be the masculine's karmic. Lots of different people come up as the Queen of Wands, including my mother, and my daughter comes up as Queen of Wands too. So it's definitely getting like that mother-daughter thing, because my daughter's definitely coming into town tonight, but that may reference the karmic and her daughter as well, hanging out both kind of in reversed energy, but coming together because they inspire each other to come out of that and to share also, okay? So to share wounds and heal from them. So the Divine Feminine offering the gold coin, so she's offering all of herself without any affection in return, no outcome, okay? In other words, inspirations that have come out of the new moon, especially the early morning hours, or deception and people needing sleep. Definitely getting to the masculines getting up, really early before the sunrise to have just peace and quiet time to really feel into who they are and what they want for their life. But definitely needing sleep, and that can be for both the masculine and feminine. Again, this is a masculine read, but it comes up for the feminine as well, because we all have masculine and feminine. So, let's see. So prior to a new life, the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Was coming up here. So the Empress had come up as the Divine Feminine, but she was coming up reversed, and the Queen of Pentacles reversed was coming up as the karmic when I asked the separate deck. So as far as the read today, there's a couple different Empresses here. It's not all the same Empress. But the reversed energy, I'm not getting that so much as negative energy, but the Empress from the Tarot of Sexual Magic, she's not a nice, fluffy person, okay? So she's coming up as a negative energy, which could definitely be a karmic or a mother of the masculine or a mother-in-law. But the Empress reversed was coming up for the feminine, okay, because she's feeling in lack, like just me now, feeling like crying. But I'm not feeling it as an awful thing, as you'll see as I get into the read. So the Divine Masculine is working, they're working so hard for their children, if they have kids, or whatever the reasons are, to expose the awakening, his own awakening to the sealed Divine Feminine. A fool defenseless to a quest of justice, like always needing to get justice so they can never give up. And the Queen of Swords reversed, betrayed, hostage of sexual energy, burdened by the inner war within self, or in other words, the Divine Masculine, because you are each other. Disconnect due to insecurities and lack of faith and manipulations. Unstable or moving, or marriage ending, holding tongue or feeling attacked by the Nine of Cups reversed, which in other words was so parallel to the movie last night, because the Nine of Cups reversed means no satisfaction. And in the movie last night, it was all about, it wasn't really about the truth. It was about, is it close enough to the truth to allow everyone to get satisfaction, to put a man to death. Do you really believe this person so strongly is the killer that you're willing to kill them? And then what happens later if you find out that wasn't the person who did the deed? So, you know, it's just bringing out the flaws of human nature and of our justice system, and that there can be a lot of arrogance in that, not recognizing the truth, but satisfied by close enough. You know, what makes us feel like we can relax and be comfortable that day, you know? So, and this goes both for the feminine and the masculine, right? Oh, I also noticed before I go any further, my blueberries this morning, some of them were starting to die. So make sure to take advantage of things before they die off, right? Before they're gone, right? Appreciate what you have before it's gone. So I definitely pulled some blueberries off the bush, although I don't have enough. You know, if I pull all the blueberries that are ripened off the bush, I might get a little bit of a bowl. So I ate some of my blueberries this morning so I could appreciate the gift that it gave me. And I was out of my juice this morning, so I didn't have my regular juice. So it was perfect that my blueberries were there. But it was just giving us the notice that things are starting to die. So the fall is already starting to come in. And that's definitely a turning point there, okay? The Ace of Swords, or the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. The Three of Swords, heartbreak. The Eight of Wands, separation and heartbreak. Surgery expressed. The Knight of Cups reversed. Jealousy, insincerity, refusal to give love. Truth and triumph about the situation. Standing up to the crowd, the sovereign in power. Letting go to repair. The choice of path to the divine feminine, and that was 952. 9 is the Hermit, 52 is the Queen of Swords. There's a separation and heated exchange of jealousy, truth, but the whole truth this time. And at that point, I couldn't find the Knight of Pentacles. I'm like, where's the Knight of Pentacles? It's so funny how Spirit does that in the cards. It's like, what's that game where you can't find him? I can't think of his name. But anyway, I couldn't find the Knight of Pentacles. I was doing most of the read without him because I couldn't find him anywhere. I knew he was somewhere. But it comes up in the read when I do find him, so I'll let you know about that. But the Knight of Pentacles, the loyal servant, the one who worked so hard, right? The workhorse, was hiding. So where is your loyalty? Where is your loyalty to self? When things are down, there's a slowdown, or the wheel is upside down. There's a turn down of new passion with sudden events, an explosion or epiphanies, or somebody are all thrown out of the house, or an orgasm in a bad turn of events. You know, maybe a one-night stand may not turn out the way you want it to, or the High Priestess exposed the past of the twins, or exposing happiness with kids, or having difficulty with your kids, or just unhappy memories of childhood or past. The High Priestess in their knowing about being naked and free, and this can be, the Karmic can be the High Priestess as well as the feminine. They can be intuitive too, but they come up in a different way. It's more of a, you know, the Viking princess, the priestess, the one who's always gotten their way, because they might have like a good chart where they don't have a lot of issues in their life. But her freedom may impinge on that of her children, making them act out and wanting to love themselves. So just for an example, if a mother's always about herself, and it's not that she's a bad mom, but she may be a more selfish type mom where she always gives to herself as opposed to the children, and maybe the children are feeling that lack and now wanting to turn around and love themselves for a change. So it's reflecting that kind of energy. Or sitting out in the sun to sort out difficult memories of your childhood, the twin or the kids, siblings, etc. Hooks in the third eye exposed, so any blocks to clearing your auric layers or your chakra layers. You know, there definitely can be devices and hooks within the body, and people do clearing sessions for that kind of stuff. But you know, people do voodoo and such. All this stuff is coming up, the dark side of love, right? Because, you know, Reiki is using your intention to heal, but it can just as easily be twisted to the dark side to be used as voodoo, to do bad to somebody else, right? For people who don't have a conscience. Someone who used to have evil intent, but has cleared up their act since, the truth of their own abusive past may have come up to be dealt with. hanging out to see new perspectives and falling short, player ways or with good passionate intent, but runs out of energy at the last minute. Coming together at work to expose all, or just be happy doing what you love, expressing feelings in a passionate exchange. Sorry about this. Okay. So it was coming up like the child riding the white horse at work, you know, naked and free, riding a horse, a little kid on a white horse. Giddy up, she says, as she whips him into shape for her pleasure. He works and looks pretty, and she gets a free ride. Whee! He works late nights at work, and again went home to fix curtains and hang things, clean up the yard. It's never ending. You'd think you'd want an amazing chart, as far as astrology without squares in it, but without the challenges in life, you become labeled as the spoiled brat because you expect to always get what you want. And so you do, or you throw tantrums like a spoiled child until you do by force. Daddy's little girl can do no wrong, does not serve her in the world, where others will not want to work with the spoiled child or will tell her to go to hell. She becomes self-serving only because she never had to try to see others' perspectives because she always got what she wanted. So ultimately, this does lead to a fall, but very unexpectedly, when one day she doesn't get her way. Contrary to this, the daughter of a well-off man, and she obviously can be the daughter of a well-off man, but that's not the only scenario. And more of the twin flame scenario is the daughter of a man who may be well-off or not, but of a well-off man, she may be assumed to be spoiled and have everything, when in reality, he kept her in check. Her mother never bought her clothes or Barbies like all the other kids at school, nor did she take her to lunch or be best friends with a close emotional tie like all the other girls at school. She lived in a war zone of the mother's rage and the father never home, always wondering, what did she do wrong? No help with homework, go figure it out yourself. Parents keeping you busy every minute of the day, whether you like it or not, no choice. She may receive mother's time, but more wrath than love. Abandoned by father, who does what he loves. Parents may have the best of intentions, but if you look at your child with hate, that is what they will remember, not that you chauffeured them around every day. Hit them, yell at them, tear apart their room to clean it up. Threatened with wait until your father gets home for cutting your sister's hair because she asked you to when you were 12. The sister's hair had never been cut before, dad's attachment. Hid in the closet for 3 hours until dad pulled her out and threw her on the bed and smacked her. The fallout of a tree and dislocate your arm. Well, lay there for an hour or so while mom and dad continue to play tennis. Oh, he's fine. He always gets hurt. Everyone has their own perspective. The mother never received affection from her parents, although the parents were very well respected, and dad grew up in the war, a child of bombings and moving and no secure home. We all learn to protect ourselves through adaptation as opposed to allowing the world to adapt to your authentic self. Stand up and surrender, but don't give up. Allow. Sovereign obsession when never getting hurt. The sovereign's obsession with never getting hurt again and refusing to let anyone in, while the one he actually loves suffers great pain because she feels him every day, waiting for the worst to be over of her torture, many times wanting to die, but more times with faith that they will be together because God said so. Once in your power again and time to let go of some, to let someone in again. After all the grief and pain and the nuts on the floor, a coming together after death and reborn, or in other words, a baptism. To live and die by the heart and not by the sword, because the truth we think isn't the truth. The truth is only love. Relationship change came up here, which is number 56, that 2 of swords being in your knowing. And underneath that is financial discipline, number 48, which is walking away and going within. Being more disciplined about your practical life. More balanced, moderation. Don't force your will on anyone else. Only allow your heart to unfold with bliss. The Holy Grail that was offered is no longer so. It's been dumped out after enough suffering. Time to stop the wondering, the contemplating, the deliberation, the vacillating about that little girl's smile. that got you through the night, in peace, impatient to taste a higher love, and instead lack. Impatience and in lack, not a good combination. Looking for outcomes or future creates lack. Looking back at coulda, woulda, shoulda and pain creates more of that as well. The present is where it's at. It's a gift, exactly, the present. Sharing passionate feelings now in the moment, the inner little girl that got away. If she doesn't hear soon, she will have to move away quietly under the full moon, by the light of the slivery moon. That was 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock is the, right, it's the hour before, or the final hour, right? And then 11:01, the next page, we have the double zeros, which is a lot of source power behind the justice. And then the next page is 11:01, the justice and the magician embodiment. She does not want to spoon under the slivery or the silver moon, for the silver is second place. She must always be number one to herself. If he can't see her, that is his loss. She'll have to enjoy everything she has and is on her own, because she knows she will never settle for second prize again. Only gold coin for her, Christ consciousness and bliss. If she is contracted to be happy alone for now, so be it, making the best of it. He'll catch up later whenever he can or wants to. In the meantime, remembering the sexual energy, the quanta, as a gift to store, and try not to take it personally, since there isn't anything she can do about it except surrender to her captor. And this comes up as the lesson too, when someone literally has been kidnapped and been held for many years. So you can listen to T.L. Swan's story. The way that you cope with in that situation is to surrender to your captor. That's the only way out, right? Is to go within. The lesson in humbling oneself, the surrender, the faith that the wheel always eventually naturally turns upright again if you allow it and get out of your own way. Impatience of Taurus and Gemini energies will fall every time. They will self-sabotage or implode on their own. Sagittarius and Taurus in heated exchange, expressing frustrations and control tactics. Mermaid mother or ringleader or controller of the ring, and lobster claw closed tight. That can be a clasp as well. So somebody might be getting a necklace or a bracelet or something. But the lobster claw closed tight as to not let anyone in, but now covered in fairy dust. A magical claw softens when he thinks of his twin and the peace that she gives him at night. Exchange of the truth between twins again and again for reunion and relationship change. Recently here, as I go on with the read, I'm going to show you and tell you the signs and placements first before I do that, and then we'll go on. So of the signs, Virgo was reversed, Gemini reversed, Pisces upright, Sagittarius upright, Capricorn upright and reversed, and that means it's either two people or one person showing both their positive and negative aspects. Leo upright, Libra upright, Leo upright, Libra upright and reversed, Scorpio upright and reversed, Cancer upright and reversed, Aquarius upright and reversed, Aries upright and reversed, Taurus just reversed, and that's all the signs. The Four of Wands was upright, and the Lovers were reversed. Two of Cups was upright, though. Of the Aces, I told you all four of them were upright today, which is amazing. Of the Kings, the King of Wands and King of Cups were upright. And anything I don't say is a reversal, okay? So I'm just going to tell you which ones are upright. King of Wands, King of Cups were upright. And the same for the Queens. Queen of Wands and Queen of Cups were upright. Of the Knights, the only one that was upright is the Knight of Pentacles that I couldn't find. And then the Pages, the only one that was upright was the Page of Wands. So the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Wands were upright. Of the Tens, the only one that was upright was the Ten of Wands, which is still carrying the burden. But remember, the burden is just your connection with the etheric realms. It doesn't have to be physical weight of the 3D. You can let that go. The other three are reversed, which is great. 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, and 10 of Cups. So all of the family cycles ending. The Nines were all upright except for the Nine of Wands, which was reversed. So the Wounded Warrior surrendering, not giving up, but surrendering. And then the Fives, the only one that was upright was that Five of Cups, which is not letting go of the baton, going from the third to the fourth leg of the race. And let me just show you around the board before I go on. Where was the race? Okay. I had to just find out where I was there. All right. So looking around the cards here, the underlying energy here was the Ace of Swords. All right, or orbs in this deck. It's orbs and chalices and crystals and flames for the Sirian Starseed deck. But the four of chalices you see is in the past position. Then the foundation is that out in the cold, right? So the Five of Pentacles, or the Five of Crystals for this deck. The center of the reed is the Chariot. You can see the Chariot guy right there. And then the challenge being the Seven of Pentacles, or the Divine Feminine's heart. Up here, the other underlying energies, and then crowning the reed is the Eight of Cups. That energy was reversed today. And then we bridge over to the near future position, which is the Ten of Orbs, but it's reversed energy. So that part is good. And then the Master and how he sees himself is that Ace of Pentacles, or the Ace of Crystals here, the Diamond in the Rough. And you see all the Romance Angel cards there around him, or how he's seen, which you can't see much because he's all covered up, but you can see the top of the head. That is the Page of Wands. He's upright today, and so is that Ace. So that's very good energy. The masked boy with the burning desire, but still has to take his mask off. And then what the mask needs to clear is that Two of Orbs, or Two of Swords. And then we end up on the Lovers card there with the numerology cards. After the Lovers, which happen to be reversed today, is the Sun, which is upright, the Trinity, which is the Three of Pentacles, which is upright, and then the Five of Swords, which was reversed, which was good. Then we end up on the Ten of Wands, which is the last 10 that needed to be dropped because the other ones were all reversed already. And then this was the side note there that I told you about. This definitely looks like an anniversary party or a renewal of vows. So, you know, that's going to be different for each of you. But let's see what happens here with the rest of the read. Let me just pull this up a little bit so it's not so unstable. So there might be some instability today, as you can see. I'm giving you my own example. Trying to be as honest with everything as possible, okay? All right. So, recently, Four Chalices, which is grounding and integrating, a new life, separation, breaking patterns of secrecy of the King of Pentacles reversed, which can be just be someone who's ungrounded, but also could be hiding greed or ungroundedness, fear of homelessness, finding peace with patient angel, holding their tongue, or telling lies, is it? Or telling others about the union with twin connection while you're still grounding and integrating ungroundedness, ignoring love. The foundation is recovery of finances or practical life and near death, sharing to pacify the beast while it's not time yet, clinging to giving or feeding on ego when things aren't going well. Centrally is boldly moving, traveling, ascending to rise above and be happy alone, being satisfied. So remember that word satisfied is a tricky one. That was perfect that movie came up last night. Yet satisfied is not truth. Connection is truth. You just won't be your best self before doing so, before being happy on your own. So deception at home or getting out before sunrise to sail or take a walk, spend time in the quiet, the stillness in union with your beloved. The challenge being the Seven of Pentacles reversed, implementing a plan, strategizing the next step. If the Divine Feminine's heart is closed to newcomers, not offering love while recovering from abandonment, she was always there with him. He's seeing this, just one step ahead for guidance while he was injured. Bold, sudden epiphany of abandonment and homelessness wounds, always dreaming of justice as opposed to connecting with sadness, stress, and purges. You know, instead of healing yourself, always burying that part. 1132 comes up as justice, and 32 is the Six of Wands, the journeyman, okay, leading the way. So always the big dream of being the judge and jury for the masculine. The problem is that the judge holds all the responsibility when sending someone to the electric chair, which came up with the movie last night, and the aftermath of death around that chain reaction. So what happens if you kill someone who didn't actually commit the murder? Well, the same example is being brought up here. When you crucify other people before having all the facts. You can only express what your experience is, but you can't say for sure what happened on the other end, right? Because that's somebody else's perspective. Just like in employee health, when you go in for disability, the department itself can judge and manipulate because you hide behind the construct, the justice system, the law, the establishment's good name and reputation. No one human is to blame for the falsely accused and damned. Justice, truth, and balance. But whose truth are you going by? The lie you tell yourself to keep yourself going? To keep up appearances of the good guy, the savior, the holy one who can do no wrong? Of course that is a lie. Humans are imperfect by nature, so celebrate your natural messed up self. Anyone who doesn't resonate with you can skedaddle. If too stubborn to see other perspectives, hitting bottom, the ground, Gaia, which is the mother, is enough to turn your head around. When you give insincere love, that is what you receive. No love. You will be destitute in some capacity. If you don't resonate with another, don't pretend. Just kindly step away. Just not feeling it. That's okay. Allow their feelings to be hurt. It is not up to you. It is up to them to find their own truth. Sometimes the truth is harsh, but it's your truth, and that's all you got. Accept that your real truth is unconditional love. Allow you to be you and others to be them, and hang out with those you resonate with until you don't. Then you go your separate corners for rounds 2 and 3 until it works again. Or it just doesn't, and it's time to say goodbye. 3 strikes you're out, but come back later if you have a change of heart. Not lies or codependency. Those are no reasons to stay together. The harsh truth of the Queen of Wands, or the one at the distance, offering friendship, something healthy to aid him in getting his wish, his dream, shocked by the non-judgment of it, or the deliberation, or someone still being around after him deliberating for so long, and grieving. And then as I go here, it was coming up with the Devil card reversed. I found the Knight of Pentacles hiding under the Knight of Swords reversed, which can be a very abusive person. So someone's hiding behind the verbal abuse. Obviously that being a wound, right, and growing up with verbal abuse in the house. The Knight of Pentacles hoofing it, hiding behind silencing, can be silencing of the lambs, that's coming up too with all this, justice system stuff. Silencing of the dysfunctional family, or a brother who always verbally abused him, silencing him, someone just telling him now, so a masculine could even work with his brother now who used to abuse him when he was young and still does, and tells him to just work and shut up, right? Get some balls. Someone taunting him while he grew up and now is triggered by the same wounds in the divine feminine, okay? So the Knight of Pentacles, remember, is the workhorse. It's the faithful, loyal servant. And he's hiding because, he's afraid to stand up for himself because of abusive wounds, whether it was in his childhood or later on in life. But it could be, with past lives or in his lineage. We carry 14 generations in our DNA. Someone taunting him growing up, or now triggered by the karmic or the feminine, and he could have been living that abuse with the karmic, especially if they're verbally abusive. You tend to repeat those patterns. So grieving out of control, chaos, addictions, alcohol, opportunist, Empress reversed, coming up as the snake, holding back his arms so she can control him. He is her puppet. Now crowning is the Eight of Cups reversed, working through emotions, even if it's harsh, the Emperor without options or synchronicities, where only one option resonates and radiates above the rest in order to find peace for him, with him. And during this time, as I'm just speaking now, thunder rolls started coming in. And as I stopped this page, it was right at noon, so the hour, the moment before the hour, the 11th hour, and then noon came up, so 12, high noon. The Duel, and that definitely came up in the movie last night too. But the Knight of Pentacles has been found. So 12:01, we turned the page, the Hangman and the Magician. And again, the movie was called American Hangman. Switched. Sorry about that. So right as we switched to PM, which reminds me of my cat in college, because my roommate, my roommate had two kittens. We shared an apartment, and the one kitten's name was PM because it was very dark, shadowy like the moon. So in switching to the PM, it's bringing up the moon, okay? Justice of the Fool in a breakup or no affection or no sex, expressing feelings in a heated exchange, a passionate movement, throes of passion, and that can be for the masculine. So whether it's with his karmic or with someone else he's having a one-night stand with, because those different energies are coming up, or just a fight. The Emperor with final judgment, decree, divorce, present to the past returning, or dealing with a negative past, the shadow work, or difficult kids, or how he treated his twin, which is himself, so how he treated himself. The Hermit reverse coming out, inspired by drunk nights, deception of truth of the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. The Queen of Wands, stressed and crying, pretending to see eye to eye with the Emperor, is the deception, while the Knight of Pentacles gets their wish of justice and stardom, attention, suddenly all taken away for not having decided, not passing the baton to the fourth leg of the race, holding on to two options just in case. Who cares how they feel as long as I feel good? Yet he isn't and wasn't in chaos and drinking. So it's saying, not caring how other people feel as long as he's feeling good. And yet the whole time he wasn't really feeling good. He was in chaos and drinking, thinking, or whatever his addictions or codependencies are, thinking he can't do things on his own, always needing help, the helpless little boy. Asking mom, what should I do? And she loves that because she gets to control you and keep you limited to her will. So then Goodwill Hunting came up again, which came up in yesterday's read. So that does not have to be the mother, and could be a karmic who acts like a mother, but that energy was coming up, and this is at 12:12 to 12:13. All right, that's hangman, hangman. So both are hung juries. And then we get to the 12:13 where when no one decides, ultimately one does, and they die and they leave. But I'm getting Goodwill Hunting and then on the prowl. The contradiction that Don Juan, who gets all the ladies to do whatever he wants, is needy and insecure and jealous. And so they get everything but the one thing that he really wants, intimacy. Deception of a third party kept under wraps. The stud's dream, the man, his truth, is that he's been cheating while deliberating, not deciding, standing at the Y in the road, while silencing, taking away others' choices to live and be whole, keeping them energetically bound to you for an occasional nighttime visit. There's your confirmation. And then finding peace in what you've stolen or gotten away with, the thrill of getting away with something. From Tinkerbell, who's grieving while you're feeling you're cool, getting away with it. The grounding and integrating of codependencies, of rejection and abandonment, falling short, frazzled, to become more spiritual outside the box of establishment or tradition or the way societal norms work. Wanting to rush in, but he only allows her in partly and then pushes her back out, rejecting her over and over and over again. And so that happens to him in the 3D. So soon, the 10 of Swords reversed, where the worst is over for pain, betrayal, and or someone getting a massage, the Queen of Cups could use some help, and someone is in need of an opportunity, money, or an invitation. The Queen of Cups comes up as Cation today. And Cation is that ion that's charged. So it's the one that has held space, right? So it's charged because it's in need. Whereas then the other ion is like the masculine ion that has, it's over-satiated, it has more to give away. So then the one in need charges the other to come forward. So the charged ion, magnetized, drawing in outside attention now, and that's coming up for the Divine Feminine. She was definitely coming up as the Queen of Cups in the predetermined character polls that I did. So she was the feminine was the Emperor reverse when she was with the daughter. But when she was on her own, she was coming up as the Queen of Cups. So the new passion in running back, there's a new passion for the masculine here, as magnetically the feminines become charged, okay? So his new passion in running back to voluntarily fall from grace one fool to another in need, waking up to the harsh truth, to let go, to fix what's been silenced. The hidden Queen of Swords reversed, for which the bell tolls. One flame and pincushion of someone to blame, getting attention for red boots, their great ass. Yet one is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. The dove stands alone near the heel of that red boot, who continues to walk right over you. And that's at 1233. So that's, letting the karmics back in and again, even though they walk right over the masculine and get him to do whatever they want. And it also is paralleling to, the flower that you step on, the forgiveness of the scent of the flower being stepped on. Well, here, the masculine is coming up as a dove underneath a red heel, about to step on the dove. So that's a bit more splat, and the smell isn't so good like a flower. So there you go with that. So detoxing, recovery, and falling for self, the masculine. A back flip and landing on their belly on the mat. Falling on purpose to let the other guy win, like with kids. An olive branch to stop competing with self to win. The divine masculine is seeing himself as that Ace of Pentacles, the diamond in the rough, the angel with patience, King of Cups with jealousy or insincerity issues, or that's their partner or child with those issues. Family cycle over, offering love to make up for unhappiness instead of money, right? So that's coming up between, and for the feminine too, like, buying your children's happiness. That's definitely a topic that came up today, another wound. Thinking your kids won't love you if you don't give them money. Healing family issues comes up, as well as chemistry, let go, control issues, and passion. A new life for the masculine, if she'll give him a chance. So who that is right now, whether he's trying to get the karmic back or the feminine, may differ for some of us. So let's see how that plays out. But around him, or how he's seen, is the Page of Wands, that masked boy with the burning desire, concerned about his looks. Aligned, overworked, ending the war, laying down swords to be upside down, and aligned with the Queen of Swords reversed. So going down to her level, face to face on her level, recovering from abandonment, emotional destitution, and having to know the whole time. Protecting her heart from the boy hiding from her and pretending not to know. So it's like he's, whoever it is, whether it's representing the feminine or the masculine or whoever is in his world, maybe it's just someone who's been misbehaving at work or at home, who he's now like kind of, and it's not even about going down to negative energy, but just seeing their point of view, going down to where their point of view is, so you can understand their point of view. So trying to resonate with someone and not just be stubborn and stand in their own point of view. So only reunion stands between them in this situation here. He's coming up with the King of Cups on him. Around him is the masked boy. That's him. And why is he masked? Because he has to deal with all this swords energy of the Queen of Swords reversed and the Five of Swords reversed and the Two of Swords upright and the abandonment issues, the abandonment issues of the Five of Pentacles reversed, and the work issues of the Eight of Pentacles reversed, overworking. All right, so all of his issues are coming up around him to be sorted out. Clear blocks, masculines of knowing without the information, go within, let go of outcomes, grieving to end the pain instead of trying to push it back down, surrender, or the Queen of Pentacles reversed, giving up ownership of property. So that wound is coming up too, the plantation owners and the slaves, letting go of plantation owner and slave templating, and whippings as well. So someone may still be whipping their children, or they may do that as sex practices, but that was all coming up, and it was still thundering at this point. 1247, the Hangman, and the 47 of the Seven of Cups, which is synchronicities, but also options, or maybe flirting with many options, never wanting to pick one, because then they'll never have another choice again. All right? What things do you want to own today? So the masculines may treat women like ownership, property, okay? So they don't want to give up the karmic, not because they love them, because they own them. So self-discipline comes up, as well as perseverance, and teach and learn as even more important than the communication. The King of Pentacles reversed, which, right, that can be that greedy man, the superhero no longer, who is just a man, just Clark Kent or whoever, a mortal in need of love and to give love. Greed, ownership, jealousy, and sincerity, Open up about your issues, your little boy wounds. That's a start in the right direction. The Lovers reversed, planning how to detox codependencies and addictions, sex, alcohol, power trips, whippings, jealousy, savior, victim, plantation owner, slave, positive attention, negative attention, any attention versus no attention, falling short, Napoleon complex, etc. Use them. This energy makes you use other people before they use you. Sex without intimacy, abuse of your temple, detoxing neediness, helplessness. Feed me, mommy. Love rain on me. Okay, 1252. The Hangman and the Queen of Swords. And the rain. And it was very gentle at that point. It was like, you know, that was like God's tears. It was just, oh, so compassionate and loving. You know? So when your mommy, my son, when he was a baby, he refused to hold the bottle. He would just put his hands out. He never wanted to hold the bottle. He could. He just didn't want to. He wanted mommy to feed me. And that was definitely the energy coming up here where the masculine never wanted to take care of himself. So, you know, and the mom catered to that. And then all the women around his life always catered to everything he wanted. So he never had to do anything for himself, which wasn't a service to him. It was a disservice to him. So love rain on me comes in there with the compassion and the real love coming in. And then I got a text from my twin flame friend who has a lot of masculine energy, who is not up for attention at the moment. So working through difficult emotions of breakup as the sun's about to rise, an outpouring of rain to wash away your troubles, divorce, rejection, breaks and commitments, coming together at work to end the war within. The Knight of Pentacles coming out of hiding, leading the way through the pain of dysfunctional family and financial losses, verbal abuse, afraid to speak the truth. The Empress in lack after offering love that had not been received or ignored. And in ignoring love, the masculine then became the prisoner to end the battle in a relationship of competition and fighting, aggression, a great burden to carry, something he'd been taught from his lineage, right? The warrior, the soldier. They have to compete to live. You know, they always have to fight and be aggressive. But that's no longer the case, okay? So it's about letting go and clearing all these lineage wounds from our space. So the insecurities of the King of Wands, with the sealed divine feminine wearing the pants and being the man. The Page of Swords, news of the Queen of Wands coming together in joy or a group. Manipulative news or a message or a child giving news of the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands coming full circle to celebrate their anniversary or some kind of party, like I said in the beginning. And I'm sorry about that, but I think it's a good trigger for you guys as well. Because if it does trigger you, you probably felt the same thing. So some kind of celebrations coming up, whether it's just a family reunion or an anniversary, whatever it is, a birthday, a wedding, it's coming up to make sure the King of Swords reversed hears it. And this could be the child, like a child, and it could be the karmic acting like a child and putting out this information. And it may even be a surprise party where the masculine doesn't even know it's happening, where she's scheduling it to, you know, to scare the divine feminine away or really hurt her by scheduling a surprise party for the masculine that she's not invited to, that kind of thing. Even if you're with your masculine, it's just really manipulative energy there. But it could be also just to get family on the same page. Maybe they've worked through some wounds with the kids, and that can be fine too. There definitely could be someone getting a lawyer to deal with a divorce, but it could be an amicable divorce at this time. So there's lots of different scenarios there. The hurt King of Swords reversed, so it could also be that she has a new partner. It could be where the King of Swords is, it was the King and Queen of Wands as them, and then she has a new partner, the King of Swords, and the King of Swords is with his children. So that was another scenario that was coming up. Or the King of Wands turned his back on the divine feminine against his better judgment is coming up in that little sidebar as well. Or, like I just said, celebration. But the King of Swords reversed, obviously, is feeling left out. The truth of heartbreak, passionate communication about jealousy of twins, recovering from a new life, or recovering for a new life. The Page of Wands, masked boy, grounding and integrating a bold move, challenged by the divine feminine with a plan, now being over the worst of it, floating on air, working through tough emotions of no affection from sunshine at work after the war. and where the looting began. The truth of the grounding and integrating, the arrows of love, the heated exchange, the recovering in a bold move to work through the feelings, challenged by the divine feminine's heart that can't hold on much longer. New life now that the worst is over. The Page of Wands is excited to know, possibly the feminine, he may have just found out from someone just randomly that she's without a lover, something that could have been exposed at work, and it could have to do with the karmic too, maybe if they're still trying to get back together after the war. A large burden to carry, and like I said, some may be planning to come back together and renew their vows or get remarried again. So just is what it is, and obviously that's not for everybody. There's definitely a lot of unions coming in right now. So just, stay in your high vibration and do you. That's all you can do, guys. I'm going to pull a couple extra cards. I have the cards in this deck and the Rider-Waite split up into the Major Arcana and the Court cards just to see what comes up for you guys here again. So for the Divine Feminine, what Court card needs to come up regarding the Divine Feminine for everyone watching today? It is August 6, 2019 for everyone watching. For the best and highest good of all those concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn for the Divine Feminine here? What Court card applies to her? Okay, so the Queen of Wands is coming out for the Divine Feminine, okay? As to see the Karmic as a human being, right? So she has wounds as well. That can also be the Divine Feminine coming into her passionate self, right? Her being creative and passionate about what she does. And being the mother, loving yourself and loving your home, being creative, all that kind of stuff comes up here. The bottom of the deck is the King of Swords here when she comes up, okay? So this could reference it can reference, whatever the Divine Feminine is dealing with right now, okay? And this could be letting the Divine Feminine know, too, that the Karmic is with the King of Swords, which could be another person other than the masculine, because I'm not seeing the same suit here, or this could even be a lawyer, so that's coming up there. Let's see what comes up for the Divine Masculine. Divine Masculine, what comes up for the best and highest good of all is concerned? Who's coming up for the masculine? All right, so the masculine's coming up as the Page of Cups, so, he's starting to open his heart, but it's still, he's still feeling very young and vulnerable, which is good. And actually, there we go. That's the masculine and the feminine. So this is telling you the masculine's in his feminine and the feminine's in her masculine, but they're both coming up as their inner child, which is good because their purity of heart's coming out. So the feminine's becoming inspired, and that's why the Queen of Wands came up for her, and the masculine is still feeling very vulnerable. So to tread gently, okay? And at the bottom of the deck for that is the Nine of Cups, all right, which is about that satisfaction, finding your happiness alone. But the ultimate goal is not to be alone, right? It's to share with others, it's to connect. But you must find who your authenticity is first and find your satisfaction on your own before you can be your best self coming into a connection. Okay, so that was the whole point of the journey. So now I'm going to put this deck all back together. I'm going to take, I have them separated. I'm going to pull a Major Arcana for you as well. Take a deep breath, guys. What major message do I need to give them for the Major Arcanas here that needs to come up for the twins, for both the masculines and feminines? What do we need to know? What do we need to learn from Mother, Father, Christ, and Sophia? Oh, a bunch dropped out here, so I'll give you them. So a bunch dropped out, but one's loose that's still attached to the deck. So this is about the sealed Divine Feminine coming full circle. And again, that can represent a union or a renewal, okay? So it's definitely coming full circle. But the 4 cards and the Hermit, by the way, is at the bottom there. Okay. So shedding light on closure of the cycle. Okay. Having gone within and spent time alone to find who you really are and come out as the sealed Divine Feminine. And then these 4 cards came out for you guys. So the Chariot, and they're all upright, so that's not the point. It's the Chariot, the Emperor, the Empress, and the Magician. Okay, so here we definitely have a couple here in their full power. This is definitely can relate to Ascension and Magician embodiment. So how do you like that? Okay, that's all I got to say about that. I'm going to put them back together and shuffle and see what else comes out for you guys. It's the minute before the hour. So again, the 11th hour is coming up over and over again. It is darkest before the dawn. There's a lot of dark energy that will come off to try to knock you off your game or just stress you out, whatever it is, you know. And for me, yesterday it was impatience. When you're dealing with someone who's impatient with you, and then you become impatient with them, because it's, you know, if you're dealing with that energy, it's because it's both of your wounds, not just one of you. So impatience was definitely coming up. So let go. And it doesn't mean that you resonate with that person. There may be a reason the impatience is coming up, whether it's just a trigger because you need to be more patient, or whether that person just doesn't resonate with you at that time. It can go either way, but it's still your energy. And it came in for a reason. So it's not about fearing anything, about any dark energy. You know, if you know how to clear your energy already, you should be fine. If you've been going through this for a few years, that's, you know where you are. You know how to keep yourself clear. It's just keeping yourself in high energy, keeping yourself happy. Okay, what needs to come up for the collective now, for the best and highest good of all is concerned? What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? This is Mother, Father, Krista, Sophia. What is the energy? What is our guidance? What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Patience again. Okay, there you go. There's God for you. All right, it's about patience and to be humble, you know. This is about commitment to yourself, ultimately. Your connection to the Christ consciousness, the Krista Sophia. Ultimately, that's what it is, to stop fighting. So stop fighting yourself, end the battle, don't compete, right? You don't need to compete with anyone else. You don't need to compete with yourself, just like the Five of Swords. You know, the war within is the war without. So the other one is about at war with yourself, constantly over and over and over in your mind, but this is more about competing with yourself, you know, never good enough. Comparing yourself to other people. It's saying, you know, let go of that inner battle as well, right? Because this is more about physical. This is what comes out in the physical. This is about ending the competition, not trying to compete with others to make yourself feel better. Okay? So I think that's a pretty clear message there. The bottom of the deck is the Ace of Wands reversed. Let's see what's below that. We have the Hermit. All right. So this is about holding on to your third energy. It can be about sexual frustration and creative and sexual blocks, but it's all about holding on to your sexual energy, because that is the quanta. That is the creative force as well, right? So when, you know, don't sell yourself short. It's saying don't accept second best. If you're a twin, you know that you can't do better than your twin. Your twin is your ultimate love. It's to, you know, to store your sexual energy for your creative powers and to shed light on that for other people to understand that. It's not easy practice, but it definitely gets easier after a while, guys. So just know that they're bringing up to conserve your sexual energy. Just don't give it away frivolously. They're saying, you know, your body is your temple. You've been given this human suit to take you through this life. So be good to it. You know, when you take on other people's sexual energy, you take on all of their wounding. So that's more stuff for you to clear. So I think we're going to leave on that note. Thank you for listening, guys. Thank you for all your likes, shares, subscribes, and comments. And please do, if you have any comments, let me know below, as well as my website and my emails below. If you have any questions or if you'd like any services, please go to my website. And, oh, I never bring up my CD. My CD is Ashes, Twin Towers to Twin Flames. It's out there on CD Baby, Google, Amazon, iTunes. Ashes, Twin Towers to Twin Flames. I wrote the first 4 songs are from the time around the Twin Towers, and the second 7 songs are from my twin flame journey. 6 of those songs were written to my twin. So, you know, give it a try and see what you think. I mean, my energy is definitely clearing for you guys. It'll definitely trigger you, that's for sure. So check it out. It's only $1 for a song, so it's a great way to support me. And drink your water, get your rest, be joyful, guys, and just always love yourself first. Rise and be loved, guys. Take it easy and have a great day. Bye.